Roberts with Atlas Air, and we're here at Swissport where we're going to basically start our flight from Anchorage to Miami this afternoon. Basically, the crews will arrive here approximately an hour and 30 minutes prior to departure, and Anchorage, we use this mostly as a tech stop, which is basically about a 1 hour turn. And we have all the paperwork in front of us, and the complete flight crew studies it and determines whether the flight can be completed safely, and we order our fuel here, weight and balance, and this is where the complete crew and passengers arrive before we start our journey. And basically the captain comes in and has all his weather and flight plans and any kind of NOTAMs, and this is where we study the complete route of the flight and check weights and fuel and order the flight to get it ready to go.
For TO1.
Okay, we'll just
It's cargo focused.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm John Roberts, captain on board our Atlas 747-400 departing from Anchorage to Miami on this Friday light snowy afternoon here. As you can see in the background, we will be carrying about 120 tons of cargo today with about a 70 or 75 ton burn. We're once again an ACMI carrier. As you can see, it's an Atlas Air aircraft in China colors. It's one of benefits of being an ACMI carrier. We are painted in customer colors. Atlas Air is ACMI carrier. We're presently operating 12 747-400s and about 20 of the 747-200s. We're the third largest freight hauler in the business, largest ACMI carrier, of course, and we operate worldwide on demand as well as scheduled operations.
Miami Airport, Anchorage to departure as filed. Maintain 4,000. Departure frequency 18.6. Squawk 7420.
7420, Dynasty 228 Heavy.
Ask me if it's 6 left.
228 Heavy, squawk back correct. Good day.
Still using 6 left.
Dynasty 228 Heavy, negative Victor's up and on runway 32, it's recently opened.
Yeah, we click pressures.
Go ahead, son. Roger.
We've got 3 up and 2 down. 2 down and 3 up. And 2 elevators up. 2 elevators down.
Auto?
Wait. Flight controls.
Check.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Start checklist system.
Get start clearance.
Ground Dynasty 228 Heavy is turning engines, Romeo 14.
Dynasty 228 Heavy. Anchorage ground structure discussion plan runway 32. And your Romeo center?
Affirmative.
Contact ground.
We're
ready to start.
Pushing Bravo 8. 173 Anchorage. Correction counter 173 Anchorage ground pushback structure discussion.
I didn't, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sort of taxi with you on the phone. 4 kilo,
Okay, we are start to clear. We're turning 4 and 3, Roger. Case.
Turn 4.
Starting. Oil pressure grade 4. And 1. Starting 1 and 2.
320 Echo.
Pressure 3.
Hello, 0 Echo Alpha. Can you get by 737? 0 Echo
Stand by.
Alpha. I think we can, yes, sir. Roger.
Mike Romeo, Kilo, Dynasty 228 Heavy.
Show us a left turn here to Mike, and then a left on Romeo, and right on Kilo. That's 20 minutes.
That's 20 selected.
V1,
57, taking heavy, contact departure cadet. 7 seconds.
VR, V2, nozzle to brake.
Andy, you're up.
Heavy, contact departure, have a good flight.
28 heavy. Anchorage departure, Dynasty 228.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
The whole thing. That's awesome.
We've just leveled up at 33,000 feet here, about 30 minutes out of Anchorage. After departing to the north Anchorage, we just took a left turn and basically heading east now. We're going proceeding direct from Anchorage eastbound to Seattle, and then direct from Seattle to Memphis, and then from Memphis direct into Miami. We should be there about 4 a.m. in the morning. Basically, the flight today will be 7 hours and 2 minutes, and this is a very heavily traveled corridor here. Depending on the winds, today we're a little bit different. We're a little bit more southerly route than we normally go to Miami. On the 747-400 here, as you can see, it's all the latest technology that Boeing has for us. And on the left side here, the main screen is our primary flight display. And as you can see, everything that a pilot needs to operate the airplane is right in front of him. And on the right screen here is a Nav Display. And as you can see, probably the biggest feature, safety feature, is that it gives a pilot situational awareness. And we can pull up just about anything we really want on the screen. We can pull up the weather and all the stations along the route of flight, waypoints, airports, all sorts of different data as far as wind data. These airplanes have in them enhanced enhanced GPWS, which is another safety feature that Atlas elects to use. And in the center here we have what they call ICAS screens. It's for engine instruments and a status page and electricity. And then just moving on back, it's other than that, it's pretty standard here. We got ACARS here, which is on our 400s, which is a wonderful tool that the pilot uses. We enter all the appropriate flight data and fuel loads and cargo loads, and all the information is sent to our dispatch, and they can call up and find out where this airplane is any place in the world at any time. We also have SATCOM, which they can actually pick up a telephone and call us at any time, or they can send it digitally. Other than that, it's pretty well automated airplane. It just all you have to do is monitor it, and it'll do just about anything you want it to do. The airplane's capable of Cat 3C, which is basically a complete auto land where basically pilots don't even really see anything. The worst part of it is after landing, being able to taxi around.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Murator, FO for the 747-400 here at Atlas Air. When I first got the opportunity to come to Atlas, I was very excited about this aircraft. All the little goodies that makes the job a lot easier. As Captain talked about before, we have these instruments here to really make the job manageable, especially when you start going around the world into different countries and you have to deal with different languages and going into unfamiliar territory. Basically, with our screens out in front of us, it gives us all the information right at our hands instead of having to actually pick up a chart and go to the chart, which enables us to be more in tune with what the aircraft's doing at all times. Since I've been here 2.5 years, this aircraft has made life very enjoyable. As you can see on this display here, it's basically our navigation display. It has the aircraft right here, which is the diamond, and then the triangle. These little points here are other aircraft that are up here that are out beyond our visual range, but we're able to pick them up on radar and be able to situationally know exactly where the traffic is around us at all time without having air traffic control to tell us about it. That airplane is now behind us. As you can see it disappearing off the screen. And we're here at a 20-mile range right now, and there's no other air traffic around us that would pose a threat to us. So I'm going to range back out to 160 miles to see if there's any other aircraft out there. Right now it looks like we're the only airplane in the sky around this area. Back to this screen over here. It has our airspeed over here, what we're doing, 304 knots. Over here is our altitude at 33,000 feet. And down here is our compass roses telling us our heading. We're heading 100. Along this tape over here is an altitude tape, and this one here is a speed tape. Coming across to the center screen is our engine monitoring system. It has our 4 engines here, what they're currently set at their N1 limits and exhaust gas temperatures out the back of the engines. And then to monitor the subsystems, for example, we can look at our fuel system right now on this synoptic page. It shows the current fuel in each tank, and it actually shows where the fuel is coming from. It's coming from these tanks, and it's feeding all 4 of the engines. These square green symbols here are the actual fuel pumps, and that they're all operating normally. And then we can go to our environmental control system, which is we're using bleed air from the engines to keep it a comfortable temperature. We have different zones in the aircraft: the forward deck, the upper deck, the crew rest area. And then moving along, we have the hydraulic synoptics showing the different hydraulic systems and the hydraulic flow from the different systems. And we can go to a synoptic of the whole airplane, all the doors on the aircraft. It shows that they're all closed right now. And then our next synoptic page is our gear that actually monitors the temperature of the gear, which is relevant on our landing. When we heat the brakes up, this will tell us how hot the actual brakes got. And then this is our status page, which monitors things like the crew oxygen, the different positions of the control surfaces, the rudder, the ailerons, the elevator, the spoiler. Back on the environmental control page, it allows us to set the temperatures in the different zones of the airplane to control the temperature when it becomes pertinent when we're carrying perishable goods such as flowers, fruits and vegetables, different vaccines that have to be kept at a certain temperature. And we can actually set the temperature, and the system automatically will maintain that temperature. Moving across to this box over here, this is basically our way to interface with the computer of the airplane. We can input different information in here. It's how we program the route before we actually depart, and then the computer updates us as we progress during the flight. As you can see, it tells us our last point that we were at, the time we were at it, the altitude we were at, and then our next point, and the time that we'll get to the next point, and then also has our estimated time of arrival into our destination, which is Miami. It also gives us information at altitude, which the outside temperature is, the wind direction, and the wind speed, and the actual fuel we had at that last checkpoint. Basically, these two center screens here are what really replace the flight engineer that they currently have in the earlier models of the 747. This system monitors the fuel, the hydraulics, the environmental control systems that normally would be controlled by the flight engineer are now controlled by the computer, which reduces the crew required to actually fly the airplane. Technology again replacing man, so to speak. We still haven't figured out how it can make coffee yet, though. As soon as we can figure that out, they'll probably replace me. There'll only be one pilot. Well, a typical schedule for myself is basically roughly about a week on, a week off, so to speak. Go out for an average flight every day is roughly 8 hours is a normal flight, and then they can go all the way up to 15 or more hours of actual flying, which makes this job very challenging in respect that the areas of the world we go to, the weather can change so much, and that given amount of time that with this aircraft we're able to update the weather so much easier because of the communications ability we have on the airplane. We're able at any time to send a message via typing it in to get the weather, or we can actually use a satellite phone that we have the ability where we can call our dispatcher and actually find out what weather areas are moving into our destination and the best route that we could take to get around the weather, which makes the job that much easier because of the amount of information that's at your availability at any time. Just the hardest part of the job is not to get complacent. Try not to get too comfortable. What do you think, John?
Probably the most challenging crew issues that I think is probably the long days, and as Steve was saying, being complacent. These airplanes, they're basically a flying warehouse, and they fly a lot more than they're sitting on the ground. And these airplanes, they can like I say, fly up to 15 hours in one stretch, and they're very reliable. So it sometimes is very difficult to make sure that you're continually monitoring the airplane to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. As you can see from the overhead panel here, this panel basically has changed the 747 from a 3-man crew to a 2-man crew. As you can see, all the systems are automated, so it only requires 2 flight crew members to operate the airplane. For example, up here the generators, all the electricity portion of the panel, that was all taken care of by a flight engineer. The hydraulics, very simple, four switches. This is all we have for a fuel synoptic here. We just have all the pumps. Everything is auto. Anything that goes wrong with this airplane or is an abnormal condition pops up on the screen. We don't really have to monitor what the airplane is doing. All we have to do is watch that iCraft screen. It'll tell us if there's an abnormal or non-normal condition. Our anti-ice is all automatic. Our pressurization is automatic now. Our pack controllers are all automatic. And as long as we watch the screen, it'll tell us what the non-normal is. And that's why this aircraft was certified for 2 persons. This airplane, the 747-400, is absolutely the finest airplane I've ever been in or flown, and don't think I'll ever see anything better than this. This is just a Cadillac of all airplanes as far as I'm concerned, with all the automation. It's Boeing. It's a simple airplane. It's high safety feature. I mean, it's 4 engines. This is just the top of the line. And I really like it, and I'll probably finish my career out on this airplane. For example, today we left out of Anchorage. We had 250,000 pounds of cargo, all the way from Anchorage direct to Miami. 7-hour flight. It's just basically a flying warehouse, and the companies that we fly for, the airlines that we fly for, are just basically using this as a moving warehouse. I mean, that's almost unconceivable. 250,000 pounds that we can lift off of Anchorage direct to destination in less time. Can you imagine? In 7 hours? For example, when we start out of Taipei, depending on how the winds are, 8 hours from Taipei to Anchorage, and from there down to Miami, from one end of the continent, almost halfway around the world in 15 hours of flight. Customers, they can have their cargo in no time.
Some of the unique things about this airplane is the ability to carry all type of cargo. In my career, we've carried everything from live animals to plane loads of cars. At one time we had 28 of the VW Bug, the new Bugs on board. We picked up in a plant down in Mexico City. We've carried whole satellites, Iridium satellites for Motorola, plane loads of IBM computers, 250,000 pounds of nothing but computers. It's quite interesting that you never know what's going to show up, but if we can fit it through the door, you can get it on board. From a lot of oil equipment, drilling rigs, food, plane loads of popcorn, seeds. Just incredible, the diversity of freight that moves by air. And I guess as we get into this e-commerce and overnight delivery type scenarios, most companies now, they don't carry a lot of inventories because of the ability to get freight from Taipei to Miami in less than 15 hours. Just helps the overall business community in a world where they don't have to keep large stockpiles of goods. It's able to be traveled in no time around the world.
As you can see, Atlas isn't just a typical cargo airlines. We're the largest ACMI carrier in the world. We provide the aircraft, crews, maintenance, and insurance, which basically means that our customers pay for fuel charges. We contract to all the major airlines around the world, as well as large freight forwarders. And though we are the largest 747 operator in the world, we are very happy to have been founded in 1992 by our founder, Michael Chowdhury. We're just about ready to start down into Miami after 6.5 hours of flight time. And as you'll watch, it isn't just a typical night for Atlas Air.
What runways are using in Miami?
The runways are activated Miami.
They're using 9 left, I believe it is.
0556 Julie. 0260 at course. Visibility 15. Smith. Field 1 on the overpass. Temperature 100, 2.18, temperature 3009. Remark. AO.
Elite 240, contact Miami Center 119.82.
Or if we have to go around, we'll just go around and we'll just come this way and we'll decide whether we want to take another shot at it or not. 100 overcast, I'm not quite sure when the scene's in and out, we'll see. This is going just a mile.
Dynasty 248, clear direct Miami.
Direct Miami, Dynasty.
Like direct Sarko.
Dynasty 228, descendant off discretion of 10,000, altimeter 3009.
Discretion 10,000, 3009. Recall. Landing down.
It's set.
Altimeters.
Pre-selected 3009 inches.
Set constant. Counter brakes.
It's set.
Approach checklist is complete.
5, what would you say the visibility was? Visibility looked pretty good. The cloud tops are about 2,500 and they're pretty broken, pretty scattered. And 228 heavy turned right heading 180 instead of maintain 3,000.
Right 180 down to 3,000. Nice.
Right,
228
American 755, thank you, turn left heading 180. Turn 180, American 755.
That's 10 selected.
and extend the center line out.
Already noticing. I'm there. That's pretty good.
So you go.
Clear dial left. 7 right down.
You're down Fox 20.
Flight Express 126, Miami approach. Left turn heading 280 down 2,000, correct. November 1. Dynasty 228, heavy contact Miami Tower 118.3.
18-3, good night, Dynasty 228 heavy.
Okay, expect to set the final approach here. Missed approach 2000.
Is set. I can meet you. Fort Miami Tower, Dynasty 228 heavy, ILS 27 right.
Dynasty 228 heavy, Miami Tower 127 right, 1360 at 4, clear to land.
Clear to land, 27 right, Dynasty 228 heavy.
We're clear to land on runway 27 right,
Clear to land.
and we'll be exiting to the left. Okay, landing checklist.
Speed brake,
It's on.
landing gear,
Down.
flaps,
30.
landing checklist is complete. Runway in sight.
Checks.
Classic 1, 2. Yes, 256, affirmative, cross runway 1230, continue for 271. Nav 656, you ready? You need a minute.
100 above.
So we're ready. Nav 656, 27 left, heading 270, clear for takeoff. Clear for takeoff again, heading 270656.
Minimums 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Dynasty 220 ahead, taxi to the ramp with me, reparking.
Cargo City.
Roger, you can turn left across from, either back taxi, well, don't back taxi, they're working on 30 on the lights, just cross at Zulu for Cargo City.
Okay, Zulu for Cargo City, 228 Heavy.
Okay, here we go. Left turn.
Vegas, you turn left there, then join Quebec, then the right at Zulu.
Okay, left here, Quebec is Zulu, 228 Heavy.
Okay, here's a left. Turn right one. Okay, now who wants to take? We got a cross here. Quebec here, or Quebec?
Zulu will be your next right. Prepare to see the marshal standing on top of that belt loader.